2019 NBA draft class was one of the most anticipated in recent memory, featuring one of the most hyped up prospects ever, Zion Williamson, followed up by Ja Morant going number 2 overall to Memphis. These two face off in the play-in tournament to see who will secure their ticket to play the Thunder in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Grizzlies were playing in their home arena while also being the higher seed, making them the favorite to win this game. But it was quickly evident the Pelicans had other plans. The Grizzlies fans quickly got frustrated with how Memphis was playing, and it was hard not to be. The Grizzlies' top 5 defense looked mediocre tonight, and their offense was struggling. Zion and McCollum lead the Pelicans to a win, stamping their ticket versus Oklahoma City in the first round. The Spurs take on the state rival, the Houston Rockets. The last time these teams played, Houston gave San Antonio problems defensively, but the Spurs still came out with the win. The rookie Jalen Anthony Thompson struggled in said game, but this time around it was completely different. Wembanyama dominated the regular season series, so now the Rockets focus more on him, allowing JAT to find his spots and make plays. The Rockets go out quickly and painless in a 112-91 loss to the San Antonio Spurs. The next play-in game is the Atlanta Hawks versus the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are a solid young team led by rookie Ty Wallace and rising star Scotty Barnes, while the Hawks is a team that is a sleeper to make a playoff run as they have one of the deepest teams in the league as well as an all-NBA point guard in Trae Young. The Raptors looked good to start the game, but after Trae Young started to heat up, the game got out of hand. The Atlanta Hawks end up embarrassing the Raptors on national television, winning by 41 points. The Hornets and Pistons match up in Charlotte. These two teams are definitely the worst out of all play-in teams, and they lived up to the expectation when both teams struggled, resulting in a very low-scoring, grind-out type of game. Out of a boring game, it was fun to see which team will make a big step in the right direction. Both of these teams are young and have promising futures. But after Kyron Matthew and LaMelo started to finally hit their shots, the Pistons had no chance as they continued to miss pretty much all their looks. The Hornets squeaked by with an intense defensive game to advance to play Toronto in the next play-in round. The Spurs head to Memphis to get a shot at making the first round and playing the first seed Phoenix Suns. Over the season, the Grizzlies have been the better team in San Antonio, but to end the year, the Grizzlies started to struggle as Ja Morant was battling through a serious shoulder injury that he still is playing through. While the Spurs have been on fire to end the year, resulting in an upset win over the Memphis Grizzlies to secure their spot in the first round. And lastly, between the battle of young teams, the Raptors have a superior talent, superior coaches, and system while playing at their home arena. The Hornets are a fun team to watch, don't get me wrong, but in this matchup it seemed off the jump they had no chance of beating Toronto. To make it even worse, Charlotte's star backcourt of LaMelo Ball and first overall pick Kyron Matthew did not show up tonight, scoring a combined 22 points in the biggest game of their season. The rookie Ty Wallace impressed on national television, dropping 42 points to eliminate the Hornets from playoff contention, while punching their ticket to a date with the first seed Boston Celtics. Now looking at the first round, there were some major shocks early on. After 2 games, the Spurs shocked the first seed Suns by winning both games in Phoenix, including a 117-84 win in Game 2. The Spurs looked ready to make one of the biggest upsets in history until Phoenix flipped the script.
Booker is red hot as Booker on the driving kick. Durant for 3, yes.
The Phoenix Suns rattle off back-to-back wins to tie up the matchup, 2 games apiece, completely opposite of how the series started. After their awful start, the Suns would end up handling business to win the series in 6 games over the young Spurs team. Wembanyama proved he is a legitimate superstar after dominating the Suns all series, while the same cannot be said for Paul George and JT. The Suns have an awful defensive backcourt, but they still struggled. The only excuse for JT is that he's a rookie, while for PG-13, there's really nothing he can say. The Mavericks versus Nuggets was one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire first round. 2 of the best European players and players in general were playing head-to-head. Both teams seemed pretty equal, their records depicting that, But with injuries to Kyrie that sat him out the last 3 games and Luka missing the entire playoffs, the Nuggets beat Dallas in 6 on their home floor. The 1st seed Celtics versus the 8th seed Raptors should have been a breeze for the best team in the league, but quickly it was known that this Raptors team was serious. Scottie Barnes was playing unbelievable and Ty Wallace was having a good series as well. Heading to Game 6 in Toronto, if the Celtics lost, all the pressure would be on them in Game 7. Jason Tatum has been struggling with the Raptors' perimeter defense, but in Game 6 he knew he had to make a statement. Finally, Jason Tatum had his first good game of the series since Game 2, dropping 45 points to silence doubters about his playoff ability. But this may be a bad sign for the Celtics. They should have easily put Toronto away, so it'll be worth watching if this makes a difference. The Timberwolves put away the 6th seed Clippers in a tough 7-game series. Dame time was in full effect as he averaged over 30 points a game against one of the best defenses, while the Clippers struggled to make the game close with their season on the line, headlined by LeBron possibly having his worst playoff performance in his career. The 54-win Thunder take care of business versus the 49-win Pelicans in a 5-game series. There wasn't no dominant play for OKC, it was really just a total team effort, while Brandon Ingram tried his hardest to bring in the win in Game 5. Philly struggled somewhat to put away the Knicks, but they do end up getting the job done, winning in 6 games, led by Joel Embiid playing incredible, while Julius Randle somehow fouled out in just 14 minutes. If you want to see total domination, this series is it. The Pacers are only one of the 2 teams to sweep in the first round, and they do it in embarrassing fashion. Nobody for Miami was that good in the series, while everybody for Indiana showed up and did their job. The biggest upset by far was the 39-win Hawks beating the 52-win Cavaliers in 4 games. The Cavaliers have been struggling heading into the playoffs, but this was still unexpected. The root cause of Cleveland's loss was the Hawks simply outplaying them and Donovan Mitchell not showing up at all. Now for the second round, the 54-win Timberwolves play the 54-win Thunder. This is the best second round series and it did not disappoint. OKC wins both their home games to go up 2-0, then the Timberwolves win both their home games to tie up the series. Riding on that momentum, the Timberwolves finally win a road game in the series, going up 3-2. Lillard has been on fire all playoffs, while nobody can guard Edwards on that Thunder team. OKC kept putting Josh Giddey, True Richmond, or Adonis Poe on Anthony Edwards, and it's safe to say it did not work as the Timberwolves walk away with a Game 6 win, advancing to play the Phoenix Suns or Denver Nuggets. The 1st seed Suns go against the 5 seed Nuggets in a tense 7-game series. The Suns start off hot with a 2-1 series lead, but the Nuggets clawed their way back to force a Game 7. The downfall of Phoenix would end up being their defense, especially their paint defense. If the Suns had played the Thunder or the Wolves, I'm confident they would have won, but against the best big man in the world, they ended up getting dominated in Game 7. Embiid once again plays the Celtics in the second round. This time he actually played much better, but the result stayed the same. Boston would end up winning a somewhat surprisingly close series in a difficult 6 games. The Hawks versus Pacers was the ultimate display of offense. The Pacers continued their insanely hot streak to beat the 7th seed Hawks in 6 games. Indiana is currently the favorite amongst sleeper teams to win the finals on all betting sites. In the conference finals, the Pacers have been the hottest team in the playoffs, but also they have not really beat anyone of high caliber, while the Celtics have been surprisingly struggling even though they were dominant in the regular season. The Pacers were the underdogs in the series, but no one was going to be surprised if they actually ended up winning. But what came by surprise was how Boston performed. The Celtics finally played at the level we've seen all season, dominating Indiana in 5 games. The lackluster defense of Indiana finally catching up with them. A bright spot though for this playoff run for Indiana was the emergence of Rick Person. The 4th overall pick from this year's draft played amazing all playoffs and has really been a gem for this Pacers team. Watch out for Indiana for years to come in the future. The Wolves and Nuggets face off in the 3rd round, and even though the Wolves pull off a semi-upset against the OKC Thunder, they cannot beat Denver. Even with their low seeding, they have proven they are still an elite contender. The Wolves actually seem ready to make a finals push with Lillard dominating, but Anthony Edwards leaves early with a right knee sprain. And now it is the NBA Finals. The 61-win Boston Celtics take on the 52-win Denver Nuggets. And the Celtics end up handling business easily. After a rocky start to the first 2 rounds, Boston dominates Indiana and Denver to finally win their first championship since 2008. Jason Tatum wins Finals MVP and MVP in the same season, a legendary year for the Celtics franchise superstar. And that is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Get ready for next episode because it will be the NBA draft and free agency. If you want to make a player for the next draft class, join the Discord link in the description. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.